Kennywood Park has been owned and operated by Palace Entertainment since 2007. Supposedly, as of recently, the parent company of Palace Entertainment, Parques Reunidos, will be sold. So what does this mean for Kennywood? Firstly, keep in mind, this is just a rumor. But if this rumor does have any credibility behind it, then the company's US assets could be sold, which would include Kennywood Park. It has only been 17 years since the park has been sold to Palace, and in this long stretch of 17 years, has Palace really done anything good for the park? And that's a pretty good question, because they have done some pretty good stuff for the park, and they have done some pretty bad stuff for the park. People have had mixed opinions about Palace Entertainment owning Kennywood. In terms of attractions, they really haven't done much. In 2008, we got Ghostwood Estate, 2010, Skyrocket, 2012, Black Widow, 2016, the refurbished Noah's Ark, 2018, Thomastown, 2019, Steel Curtain, plus Steelers Country, 2020, the refurbished Old Mill, 2022, the Return of the Kangaroo, 2023, Spinvasion, with Area 412, and 2024, Potato Smash. Now that might sound like a whole heck of a lot of things. It's not. One new dark ride was introduced, 3 new themed areas, 2 flat rides, 4 ride refurbishments, and 2 roller coasters. Also keep in mind, these ride refurbishments were nothing new. They were just refurbished and advertised as new. The only genuine flat rides you've gotten in the last 17 years were Black Widow and Spinvasion, in between an 11-year gap. Let that sit in for a moment. You haven't gotten more than 2 new flat rides in 17 years. Potato Smash and the Kangaroo do not count because those are not new. Those are refurbishments. Hear me out here. It is great they're refurbishing these old rides, such as the Kangaroo, and rides like the Old Mill and Noah's Ark. But people don't come to the park because of Noah's Ark. What's going to bring people to the park? New rides. It has only been 4 years since the year of 2020 when 4 rides got removed from the park. The Kangaroo, Volcano, Bear Curve, and the Paratrooper. In 2022, the Kangaroo did come back. In 2023, Spinvasion filled the spot of the Volcano. But what has filled the spot of the Paratrooper and the Bear Curve? It's pretty simple. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They replaced the Paratrooper with a patch of grass and the Bear Curve with lockers. So do you get where I'm coming from now? Anyway, since we've talked about the negatives that Palace Entertainment has done to Kennywood in the last 17 years, let's talk about the positives. Although attractions might not be Palace's focus, they have been introducing a lot of new experiences lately, such as Holiday Lights in 2011, a laser show in the lagoon during the 2010s. In 2015, the 4D Theater. In 2017, Skyrocket VR. In 2019, they planned this whole Steelers Experience building and the Steelers Country area, which ultimately failed. Then in 2021, they added Bites and Pints, which is a unique food event for the park, and new restaurants as of recently, Carousel Burger Co., Cheater's Pub in 2024, and in 2023, Permane Brothers. And also, as of recently, since 2022, there have been a lot of repaints. And I'm not gonna lie, sure the first 13 years of Palace might have sucked at Kennywood, but the last 4 years, they're actually pretty good. There was a very big difference when I first walked in the park in 2022, which was the first time I've been in the park since 2019. I didn't go to the park during 2020 or 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but when I returned, I kept going from 2022 through now, and there's absolutely a big difference. Kennywood hasn't looked this good in years. Kennywood hasn't had good shows like the shows they have now in years. So Palace is doing something right. But when you compare them to the old owners, it's a completely different story. From the years 1990 to 2007, we got 2 new themed areas, Lost Kennywood and Volcano Valley, 11 flat rides, yes, 11 compared to 2 and I'm not afraid to name all 11. 1990 was the addition of Balloon Race. 1992 was the TriStar. 1993 was Wipeout. 1994 was the Sky Coaster. 1995 was Rollo Plane and the Phantom Flyers. 1997 was Pitfall. 2000 was Aero 360. 2003 was King Kahuna. 2006 was Swing Shot. And 2007 was Cosmic Chaos. Oh, you think I was done with naming names? I'm not done yet. There were then 2 ride refurbishments. In 1996, Noah's Ark, and then in 2004, Garfield's Nightmare. Then we got 1 new water ride, the Pittsburgh Plunge, and finally, 2.5 new coasters. The Steel Phantom in 1991, the Exterminator in 1999, and half a coaster, the Phantom's Revenge in 2001. Now that's 17 years that I like to see. And you can clearly see the last 17 years prior to the last 17 years currently is 100 times better in terms of new attractions. Now with the question of possibly getting new owners again, I don't think that's a good idea. We'd be back at square one again. We haven't really been getting any cool stuff until the recent years of the 2020s. It only took Palace 13 years to realize what we really want, and even then, it still kinda sucks. So why would you want to go back to square one when another company doesn't know any clue about Kennywood, and they'll spend 30 years trying to figure it out? What I'm trying to say is that this could be far worse. Sure, things could get better, but it could also go very wrong. Who's even out there to buy Kennywood in the first place? Nobody. Cedar Fair ain't gonna buy it. Six Flags, they're one big company now, so it's highly unlikely. You got SeaWorld. Like, who's gonna buy it? There's no buyers. And even if these companies did buy it, it would probably suck more than Palace. Or it could be 100 times better and go back to how it was in the 90s and early 2000s. It's really hit or miss. So is it really worth risking messing it all up again? No, it ain't. And you shouldn't mess with it if it does not need to be messed with. We don't need to change owners every 20 years. That's not a good idea. So do you want to risk it for the biscuit, or do you want to play it safe? That's the ultimate question here. Personally, I want things to get better in this park, but at the same time, I just want a Kennywood at the end of the day. I don't care who owns it as long as they're keeping things generally together. But I would definitely like to see more rides in the park. I would say at least 2 more flat rides added to fill the spots of the Paratrooper and Baron Curve plots of land. That would be the bare minimum. Because if it weren't for COVID, I think those rides would have still been here. But I would love more than just 2 new flat rides in 17 years. That is unacceptable. 2 new coasters sounds about right, but 2 new flat rides? That is crazy. Compared to the 90s and early 2000s getting 11 flat rides. Wow. I'm not saying they have to go back to getting a new ride every single year. Let's say they got Spinvasion in 2023. Well, I want to expect something by 2025 or 2026. Who knows, maybe Palace will make a comeback and then we'll all be happy. But that all goes back to the good old saying, you can't make everybody happy. Back in the 90s and early 2000s when they were adding 11 flat rides total, somebody might have said, hey, that's too much, I hate this. People have many different opinions. Like others right now, they might say, I'm fine with what Palace Entertainment is doing to Kennywood. I'm 100% fine with it. And then others, they hate their guts. It's the same way with people too. People might hate your guts, they might like you, doesn't matter. What matters is who's not the jagoff here. If you act like a jagoff, then people will treat you like a jagoff. Only time will tell what the future of Kennywood Park is, whether it'll be under Palace Entertainment or somebody else. Now the question is, what would you do? You now magically own Kennywood. What would you do? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought of this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more content like this. I post tons of other Kennywood content that you will not want to miss. If you love Kennywood, you'll love this channel, so why not subscribe? Also, go join our Kennywood Discord server, linked in the description down below, where you can find tons of other Kennywood enthusiasts just like you, and have great conversations in the server. So why not join that too if you love Kennywood? You won't regret it. I thank you all for watching, and remember, let's ride.